Yeah,
right?
Jonathan Pierre has been kind of alluded to that, but he's played that same minute mark you were talking about with Jaden Hardaway, like that 12 to 15 minute mark. And especially in the last two games, Temple and Tulane, he shot the ball really well.
Yep.
16 points combined in those two games. I think he missed 2 shots. Coming in, give you good minutes like that. That's what you have to have.
And I'll say this too about him, and it does not on the defensive side of the ball. Sometimes he gets lost,
Right.
and he's a little bit out of position.
But not as bad as Ashton.
I'll say this though, that's true. But Kenny, you'll back me up. You'll back me up on this too, Christian. That kid works his nuts off.
No
Yes, he
doubt.
does.
Whenever he is on the floor,
There's no doubt.
He will make mistakes, but my God, he works his ass
Right. It's not
off.
because he's being lazy.
No,
Right.
not at all.
Not at
But
all.
I think he's starting to understand, like he's been less lost on especially
Right.
on the
Oh,
offensive end.
absolutely.
He's finding
Absolutely.
his roles and what he's supposed to be. But also, I don't think there's a coincidence between Penny getting to about 9 guys and playing Jonathan and the role that he's carved out the past 2 games.
Correct.
I think that coincides with
Right.
each other.
Yep.
But also if you look deeper into the layers of Jonathan Pierre, this is a Division II basketball player who didn't really play as a freshman and did not come into his own until the final 20 games or 15 games of his D2 career. This was not a superstar going into his. Was he a redshirt freshman, sophomore? I don't remember exactly.
Sophomore, I think.
Sophomore, I
Do they
believe.
redshirt in D2?
I
I'm
don't-
sorry.
They
I don't
can.
know.
They
I
can.
Okay.
But the only reason that he was even in the lineup for Nova Southeastern last year
Right.
was because of an injury.
Right.
So this is a raw. It's a raw
Super
player.
raw kid.
Super raw player. I mean, this is a guy that grew like 8 or 9 inches in high school. Like he's still completely coming into his own as a player and learning his body and how to play and the levels to this game. So anybody that was expecting Jonathan Pierre to come in immediately and like be this revelation, that was false hope anyway. But if he was going to have an impact on this team, it was going to always start this time of year.
In conference play.
In conference play, towards the middle of conference play, as he has been on campus for several months now, as he is getting more interwoven into the system and into just playing high-level Division I
college
basketball.
Yeah.
Like this
That usually helps.
This was a progression that was going to take time. So I don't think we're expecting him to go on like the superstar rampage run that he went on at the end of his D2 career. But if he can come in and give you 10 to 15 quality minutes a night, like that's all you need from him.
That's all you need.
It's kind of funny because like these are his 2 best games of the year. It's not even close.
No.
Because before that, he's playing 4 minutes a game, 0.8 points per game, 0.2 rebounds per game, 0.8 assists per game.
And was a
That's what he was doing, and he was lost constantly on the defensive end.
A traffic cone on defense.
It had no idea where to position himself on offense because I think he's more used to being on ball. That's what he did with Nova Southeastern a lot. So he's just like, you want me to be a spot up shooter? Do you want me to attack closeouts? Like, what am I doing?
What's
here?
my role? Yeah.
And now he's sort of like right there on the perimeter, stand and shoot, catch and shoot type guy, or he can get off the bounce if they close out too hard.
Well,
But
and if you've heard Penny
he just
talk,
needed that like direction. What do you want me to do? Because he's a bright kid. If you tell him what you
100%.
expect of him, he'll
do it.
probably fall in line and make it happen.
100%. So him having a prominent carved out role is huge for him.
Yes.
Because he's not going to be the guy on this team, obviously, like he was last year. So give him not a prominent role, but a carved out, understood role, and he's going to be able to execute it because he's a super talented player.
Yeah.
And he's a smart kid.
Yeah.
That knows how to execute schemes. So we're seeing that development right now, and we'll see if it continues or if this was just kind of a flash in the pan.
I was glad he strung 2 of them together back to back.
Right, back
because
to back.
I remember, was it against Michigan, Ashton Hardaway?
Right,
Looked
yeah.
like the second coming of Jesus himself with the 3-point shooting, and that's the one game he's had this
Right,
year. That's all it was.
Didn't continue from there.